And we are live.
Okay, good evening, and welcome to our regular council meeting on October the 28th. We've become a regular routine of one meeting a month like this now, so welcome everybody. Around the table we have Town Clerk Joanne Perry, Town Manager Sandy Collins. Councillor Paul is not here this evening. He's sick, I believe. Oh, really? Councillor Gerald Perry, Councillor Chantal Leach, Councillor Richard Kelly, Councillor Craig Arnold, Deputy Mayor David Saunders, and myself, Mayor Doug Churchill. So we'll start, as we normally do, with the adoption of the minutes, starting with the meeting, a regular meeting on September the 30th at 7:30 p.m. We need a motion to adopt, please. So moved. Moved by Councillor Perry, second by Councillor Lynch. All in favor? Everybody? Anything arising from those minutes? Number 18. Number 18.
Yeah, we've been speaking to our town janitor, and we don't see any option really of extending her to cover off the Diamond House based on what she has right now and the increased workload due to COVID-19 and things she's going to be doing at the arena, the additional work. I don't foresee her having the time to do that.
Is there an option to hire a second janitor? What's that for? Just to do the House. Well,
that would be a council decision, Mr. Mayor.
All right, maybe it's something.
It's something you can consider.
I could see looking at it. The janitor we have now is really overloaded because of COVID.
Anyway, we'll leave that and come back to it. Anything else arising? Hearing none, we'll move then to the council meeting. That was an impromptu one, I guess. October the 5th. We need a motion to adopt the minutes on October the 5th at 1 p.m. Moved by Councillor Arnold, second. Councillor Kelly, all in favor? Everybody? This was like I said, an impromptu meeting that was necessary at the time. And I'll just mention to you the first item there, which is the capital paving project, separate tender. This was moved by Councillor Perry and second by Deputy Mayor Saunders that the capital paving project. This is the one for ditching and culverts. There'll be two separate tenders, and the works to be carried out this year for the ditching and the culverts. Early in the new year, the tenders will be called for paving work to be done in the spring, and the motion was carried. But that work was deemed to be ready to go at this particular time. I don't know if there's anything else arising from those minutes anybody can think of or remember. If not, we'll move to October the 13th at 7 p.m. And again, we need a motion to adopt. Deputy Mayor Saunders, second. Councillor Arnold, all in favor? Everybody? I'll just mention to you here number 2. Again, for public knowledge, I guess. And this is where it was moved by Councillor Lynch and second by Councillor Paul. The council set the following priorities for the coming year. And the first one, of course, this is the one for public municipal capital works. And this one, the first one, of course, was for the new fire hall. The second one was road upgrading and paving. It included 2 streets, Alexander Crescent and Eagle Landing. And the third one was the Northwest Brook Bridge. You can see, of course, that there's the division between those items in terms of what we pay and what the government will fund is written there as well. They're all the different rates, if you like. Anything arising from those minutes? Anything else that anybody would like to bring forward? Yes,
Mr. Mayor, just to make everyone aware, previously we had talked about the new fire hall being cost shared at a 60-40 cost shared ratio. However, through consultation with the department, and of course we always knew it was a regional facility, but we have a copy of the MOU between ourselves and Traytown, and based on that MOU and having it certified as a regional facility, we're able to change that cost share from a 60-40 to a 70-30, so it's a little bit more beneficial to the town. So
excellent. Good.
You had the regional salary?
Yeah.
We don't pay 30%.
Yes. 30%. Yes. Yeah.
Anything else arising from those minutes? If not, we'll move to the Public Works Committee meeting on October the 14th at 10 a.m. We need a motion to adopt, please. Moved by Councillor Kelly, second. Councillor Arnold, all in favor? Everybody? Now, there's a couple of recommendations there that I guess we'll need to look at. The first recommendation is based on a site visit by Public Works Committee. The town manager and the Public Works Superintendent was decided that no immediate action is required on the ditching that was at Saunders Cove, 355 Main Street North. And this was in response to a letter by Emily Lawley. So there was no immediate action is required as there's sufficient road shoulder in that area. The Public Works will, however, be sure to include the cleaning and clearing of the ditch in any future operations in that area. And the second one was to rescind the previous motion permitting Brad Como to hook on to the existing water service line and instead permitting to hook on to the 2-inch water line being installed by Cecily Parsons and Alex Gill.
One each.
One each. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, one each. The maintenance and repair of the service line from the curb stop in will be the entire responsibility of the aforementioned property owners, not the town. No other properties will be permitted to tie into any of the existing service lines servicing properties in Brookings Lane. So these are 2 recommendations. We need a motion to adopt them. Moved by Councillor Arnold, second. Councillor Perry, is there any discussion?
This discussion that's going on now with where do we go with that? If we go ahead with this, it's over.
Yeah, well, from speaking to Brad today, as I spoke to some councillors before the meeting, just to let you know, I received the sketch, a very detailed sketch from Mr. Como today. And what he had put in there for his service lines, both sewer and water, were different than what was previously approved by council. So I've gone back, discussed with him, and see if we can meet somewhere in the middle. If it was anything other than what council's already decided, I don't know if it would have to go back to council. So it's with him now. I told him if he was able to get it to me today, I would have been able to bring it forward tonight for a decision. But he wasn't able to. He wanted to speak to the other property owner, speak to the contractor, get those things in order, and then come back. So until we get word back from Brad Como and Cecily Parsons and Company, we wouldn't really be able to go any further with it until we understand where they're.
I don't know why he couldn't have a 2-inch line water line and a 4-inch sewer line. I said, well, all our service lines are 1 each. I don't know if they are 2 inch or 3 inch.
So some of the older ones would be.
2 inch?
Yeah, well, one in Brook that goes up Brookings Lane that Brad Como was going to hook onto prior to, it already has a couple houses on it. That's a 2-inch.
So why would we stop her from having to do it?
Well, we wouldn't, but it was decided on based on we didn't want any further development up there beyond the 2 that are going. There'd be no need of the capacity for a 2-inch wasn't needed.
Concerned if it had enough pressure.
Right.
Well, I can't say, like I said, it's real low. No doubt that up on the hill. I want everybody to get the pressure up there, not the word I can say.
But I mean, in all my dealings, and with pumps and all that kind of, if you reduce the line, you increase your pressure. If you increase the line, you reduce the pressure. Going from, from an increase in the line, you reduce the pressure. So when you put 2-inch line, you're going to reduce the pressure. Is there any reason?
Just come up with one.
Yeah. Is there any reason that we would, right now, I mean, we may have to come back to this later. Is there any reason now that we would not continue with the motion and the decision that we made in Public Works?
I don't know, but we will have to resend it again.
Well, we may have to if we decide to do that, but this was the decision of the committee. It was brought to council, so let's make that the decision now. And if there's something that comes up later on that we have to go back and we've done that before.
Well, when new information
Yes,
comes to the table,
yes, exactly.
it can change decisions.
So the motions are made in second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, so we'll go with what we had there. Like I said, if there's anything new that comes up, well, then we may have to rethink it. The next council meeting was on October the 26th at 1 p.m. Again, a motion to adopt, please. So moved. Councillor Perry, second by Deputy Mayor. All in favor? Everybody? Again, I'll just mention to you now before we go further that in number 1, we have awarded the contract for the ditching and paving. Councillor Perry, second by Councillor Kelly, that the council approve and award to award the project, for road upgrading and paving phase 1 to Emmanuel Construction Services in the amount of $82,229.61. That was passed at that particular meeting. Anything arising from that meeting you could move to? I'm just wondering, although we made our decision on it's not upgrade. Health is recommending that these things not really go ahead. According to the rules and regulations that I read today, that was sent out to Curvers, that came out regarding people meeting in the arena and that. We have some correspondence there. That's there. Perhaps we can. That's getting right there. It is that. Yeah, I know it is. Yeah. But if you don't mind, we'll leave it for that. Okay, no problem. If there's any correspondence. Don't let us go through it. I think it's in the manager's report as opposed to correspondence. Anything else arising from those notes? If not, we'll move to deferred business. Anything new on A, the municipal plan amendment for Clay Cove and Sweet Apple Terrace?
No, working its way through. We had spoke to John Baird. We probably reported last council meeting that he had been working on, had some feedback back from the office in St. John saying everything looks good, but it's just going through the motion. So on a good day, those things take time. During these times, they do give more as well. Yeah.
Okay, B was a letter from the old timers around the arena naming, and again, we said we'd do that sometime in the future, but we haven't really set a time or a date for it. I think we should. And get it off the books, one way or the other.
Well, this group will be getting together again now, I assume.
Yeah, okay, Congress, so maybe they'll have a change of card or something. Or different requests, we'll see what happens. The other one is in C was the zone change request for the Tower Equestrian, and I guess that's still working through the process.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
In D, the RV dumping station in the spring of 2021, we had left that from the last meeting, of course, and there is correspondence tonight in relation to that, so again, we'll get to that, I guess, in a little while. And And the house of Diamond Clean, we've already discussed that one in the previous comment or two. Moving right along. In the permits, crown lands, municipal recommendations, there are none, I don't think. So we're down to the town manager's report.
Okay, just a couple items. As you know, we've gotten a new pickup recently for Public Works, and as such, the Dodge that we have, the 2012 Dodge, is coming into service. It's had some issues, so we have all the plow equipment taken off now. Anything that was usable by Public Works that they had added on the back rack, plow, those types of things, lights, they've all been taken off now and applied to the new vehicle. So I was looking to do something with that vehicle. It's just sitting over in the yard now, so I was hoping to put it up on bids or tender, whatever the case is, set a minimum bid, and just try to move the vehicle. So all our council's thoughts are with that.
I know that we put it up on the auction for bid, whatever it is. I don't know what the minimum bid will be, because I don't know how good the truck is.
There's issues. One of the cylinders is no pressure on one of the cylinders. There's some electrical issues. You know, it's you're not going to drive it off the lot and go home with it. There's some problems with it. So
Would town manager prefer an auction or minimum bid?
I think a minimum bid would probably be.
Do we want to make that part of, well, do we want to make that, we want to put that there tonight just as well?
Yeah. Then I can start.
$500 is minimum bid. It could go higher than that, of course, if two people decide to bid on it.
Yes.
$500.
That's the minimum bid.
Yeah, exactly. What year was that one?
2012.
Well,
Like the body, everything is good, and there's parts of it, obviously, for someone who had a similar truck, there's great value in it, or someone who's a mechanic would probably, you know, but there's, like I said, there's significant issues with it, so I think that would be reasonable.
the motion is made by Councillor Kelly for $500 as a minimum bid. Is there a seconder? Second. Okay, well, sure, or no, Councillor Arnold, whichever. Any further discussion then? So we'll let it work its way through and see what happens.
We're going to have a time period, let's say.
Yep, as we did with the fire supplies
Yes.
truck and Carl House's property, those types of things, right? Yep.
Ready for the question? All in favor? Everybody?
I only had two items to talk about. The second item is actually with regards to what Councillor Perry had just brought up, the parades and outdoor ceremonies circular that came in from government and how it impacts us. So I guess, do you want me to wait until it goes through correspondence to chat, or do we want to talk about it now?
Yes, we'll do it now. There's not even correspondence on this.
Yeah.
Well, there is correspondence. Sorry. You never look for your correspondence. Thank you, Councillor Perry. Duly noted.
Yeah, I did have a truck to be today, but it's good.
All right, well, we'll move on then and do that in the Harry, I'm set.
That's it.
Oh, you're done?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Seems surprised.
We'll go around the table. Now, Councillor Perry. No. Good.
The official for a citizen today, she was wondering if the town had any interest or maybe a little bit of interest to put a walking trail, a walking path around the inside of the arena. Remember we got through this? I don't know where it ended, if we applied for filming for it, or if we would be interested, or if it's possible, or, I don't know.
When we talked about it before, it was limited space and ice forming around the edges of the arena. There's even, because there's some people who now use it as a walking path, if you will. Last year there was a gentleman that actually fell down and we had to, based on the slipperiness, yeah, near where the Zamboni is, which is another issue, of course, because Zamboni comes in those.
Which I did speak, I told her that I didn't think it was possible.
The only way it's possible, you have to spend a lot of money, but it can be done.
Yeah.
It's something that.
And there's nowhere, she mentioned
rock
that.
up, real rock, but the height dimensions are a bit higher dimensions, and you walk right around there.
You still have to have a Zamboni interest.
You know,
Yes, overall, no.
and I don't know if the least arenas there,
No.
Candace is high in ours.
It needs to be designed when it's built. right?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, she was wondering if it's like, a lot of the population are are elderly, and coming on winter, she was saying, you know, it would be nice for somewhere to have them to be able to walk. Even if you are 6 feet away from the next person or whatever, but we don't have
But like
any
you,
building that we could offer.
you certainly wouldn't recommend them walking in there because of the incident last year.
Oh, yeah, no,
So,
no,
Well,
I
they
didn't
still
even.
up there, you had,
you had to have a lot of work done.
you see people fall out there, coaches walking to the exit, you know.
There was a time, I don't know if it was in the last short years, like 3 or 4 years maybe, there was a group that used to go up to the school. And they used to walk all around, like the elementary, all around the library, go on and around. I mean, you know, it's quite a little loop there. But of course, now with COVID, we're not allowed into the schools, so it's a rough year for
It's a challenge for
activity.
them, which is why
I don't even know if
it's
this is
catch-22,
no,
really is. I mean, they want to get out because they're stuck inside, but they're not allowed to go in.
Yeah.
And no buildings are permitting people inside, so.
And on that note, even if we had a walking track there, it would be difficult because our numbers, of course, are governed. So, like when I bring my child in skating, only one parent can go with the child. So you wouldn't be able to, if we were to even have it, you wouldn't be able to throw 50 walkers in on top of it. So that would even be a challenge. Even if we had a facility, it would be a challenge.
Well, I told her that I would bring it and see what we can do.
Well, something we need to keep in mind, but right now, I don't think anybody around the table can see any possibility.
no, some people talk about that address, we able to too. The stadium, our stadium, that's not, that stadium was designed not even prior to choice. You go back and look at that stadium, it was designed for natural ice. Look where we had the ceremony over in the corner. We had to take one of the dressing rooms and make a room for the plant. So that stadium, the only way you had to walk top, and I don't know if there's enough room up top. You had to put middle line in front of the top right. You had to put middle line by that window. It could be done. I think it could be done.
There's no money to do anything.
But it's going to cost a lot of money. You're talking $100,000, $200,000.
But something that we probably should keep in mind.
Well, keep our eyes open because there might be some funding for that with, you know, seniors too.
Okay, anything else, Councillor Lynch? Councillor Kelly?
No.
Councillor Arnold?
No,
Deputy Mayor?
no, nothing for me.
Okay, and I don't have anything, so we'll move then to correspondence. The first item is another of the letters from the children who did the damage at the recreation grounds. And this one requires a request if there's anything they can do to help with the repairs. And they offered $45, I think, that they saved up to pay for some of the damage. I don't know. I don't think we ever accepted their donation, but I'm sure it was gratefully fine. And but it certainly shows good faith. The second item is again an email in relation to the passing of Darrell Mills. I think everybody around the table knew Darrell, of course, with PDC engineers that we had for a number of years. So it's certainly for information purposes. I don't know if the town did anything, town clerk or town manager to remember.
I did send a message to the office, but other than that, no, I don't know.
Something that we should do, or is the message enough? Or
We could send a little something along to the office if you.
Do they have donations in memory of?
Yes, I believe they do.
How does everybody feel about that?
I mean, we should do something.
Do something, just leave, other than just a message that we would do something in a donation in memory and from the town.
If we found his obituary,
I do have it.
does it say on there?
It does, but I cannot tell you right now what it was. I will have to go back.
Well, you know what I mean? It says.
Yes, it was. It does. It can be, but I just don't recall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If that's what the damage is.
Yeah, there was something there on the obituary.
What would be the appropriate donation? $50, $100?
100, I guess. to some foundation or whatever.
Whatever it is, yeah. So motion by Gerald, Councillor Perry, second by Deputy Mayor.
Duly noted, sir.
All in favour? Thank you. The next item is a petition, signed petition about the RB dumping station. This one was received some time ago. Of course, it's the first regular meeting that we've had. You can see that there are a number of signees on the petition. You also notice, of course, that we did already make a commitment, and it's in the minutes, of course, and it's there in the deferred business section, that we would do a serious look at the RV dumping station in the spring of 2021. We also have in correspondence a letter from a business that would like to explore the possibilities of an RV dumping station themselves. So again, another reason probably to take a look at it in the spring as opposed to right now. So we probably should send a note back to Mr. Holloway, I think it was, thank him for his petition, and with the understanding, of course, that it comes springtime, there are a number of factors now, but come springtime, we'll certainly have a serious look at a dumping station, one place or another. That was a consensus on the part of the council. Everybody okay with that? So we'll send a letter of thank you to Mr. Holloway. The next item, D, is the monthly police report for September. This is for your information. The E after D. The facts for municipalities on the 2020 virtual conference. So Municipal Affairs is having a virtual conference this year. And if you look at the second page, you'll notice that the price, the delegation price and so on is still pretty much, I believe, I'll check with the town clerk, and that's pretty much what it was over the years. But obviously we would have to sit in on the information for a number of days. Town manager?
You're looking at, with the cost share, or however they do that with the, what's the term I'm looking for? Match training running. You're probably looking at about $300 per person. And if you register 2 or more, you get a 10% discount. But it's, as you had said, it's all virtual, so there's going to be a number of speakers, most of which have been pre-recorded. So you can sit in and watch those. There'll also be some discussion, group discussions, I guess, on Zoom, Microsoft Zoom, which many of you have used before, perhaps. But it will be very different than in years past. So, and it is quite a bit of money, so I don't know if council wanted to have one person even. Or,
You don't have to sit in
you can,
to the conference those days. It's good for 30 days.
Right, correct, yeah.
Oh, I see. So
Yes,
you
so
can
you
dial
can sit
in
on your
anytime.
own. Yes, they'll give you a pass code, and you will go in. You can go in live, or you can go in and watch it after the fact, because they don't expect anyone's going to sit for 3 days.
Is it worth our while to have access to the information for 30 days?
They do have some great speakers.
So we have sort of a
I had a link today. I got to send a link today, so I quickly printed it out for the town manager for this evening. And they do have quite a bit. It's unfortunate, really, because I think it would have been a great conference. You know, if you had one person register. No, I'm saying we could have at least one register. We'd have our hands on some information.
And we could dial in and bring up this.
Yes.
A group of us could come here.
I don't know if they.
Can we do that?
Well.
No.
No, you'd have to register every person that was wanting to participate. However, say for example, if you registered one and that person was me, I could watch that, and anything important I could bring back to the group.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
In your office?
Yes.
Yes.
And I can sneak in.
The door will be locked, sir.
Or you could do it at home. I mean,
That's
we
right.
should have signed in on your iPad or on your laptop or wherever. Or go in and you'll get some information. They'll probably be able to print some information, right?
No, this is
No, you don't have to.
Right up for 3 days.
This is over a 30-day period. You
Yeah.
go in any time, and if it was Sandy, you could go in anytime and register in and do a session, and then do another one, you know, Sunday afternoon, right?
Well, yeah.
And you pick and choose, right?
Friday evening, Saturday evening.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
So we need a motion. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Lynch. Registered one person. And that one, for the most part, would be our town manager. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, thank you. We moved into the letter from Crosstown Stores, and it's from Wolf James. I'll read it's a very short one, so I'll read it for you quickly. It says, we owners of Crosstown Store Limited would like to start application on setting up public RV dumping station. Only way this can work for us is if we can hook to the main water and sewer system. Before we prepare actual proposal and apply for funding if required, we need to know if the town of Glovertown will consider such a site. Site location will be on the property 270 yards from the main sewer system. Grade for sewer would be easy to achieve. This project will need lots of legwork and estimates of cost. Big question is, can it be hooked to the main system? So I think we were thinking in terms of probably having a look. We'd sit down perhaps with Matt and have a look at the system itself there. Just one little difference that I've noticed, and I mentioned this to the town engineer today, coming out of Station Road, there are no lift stations going out into the bay where our storage ends up. Coming from down there, there are two.
One is not too far from.
Well, then there's two at least. So that may be a fact, and maybe not, you know, but it's something I think we need to have a serious look at. So if it's okay, perhaps we can have Public Works Committee meet with the Public Works men, boys, and Matt, and have that discussion and see what needs to be done, and see if we can, you know, determine, if you like, if we will have any adverse effects. Is there a cost that we should charge as a town, for instance, for our use of our system?
Water and sewer, for sure.
Because they're going to be charging the public, obviously. So these are some of the things I think that we need to look at, right? So is that a consensus that we would pass it to the Public Works Committee and that we would meet with Matt, supervisor, and have a look?
You know, before we make any decisions, good idea to make sure that
Yeah.
Matt understands, Tori understands at this stage.
Yes, well, I think it's important for us to understand the implications too.
Oh, yeah.
And he has some questions as well. I spoke to him.
Yeah.
Where it gets tied in, if it goes directly into the lift station there.
Yes.
So there's a bunch of questions that need to be answered.
Very good.
Okay, thank you. We'll move into the next item, which is the letter from Children's Wish, Jesus Meals Radiothon, November 15th, 2020. And this is again a request. Yes. Ask for you to continued support for sick children in the province. If you are able to do so to make your donation, please complete the reply form. Have we done this one before?
It should be $100.
I know that we give them $100 for the Wish Foundation.
Okay, we have a seconder, Councillor Lynch. Any conversation, discussion? Do we do this one or do we do the local chapter?
We do both.
Well,
We do one for the radio fund, and we do one they do their little
Okay, perfect.
thing here.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. The next letter is from Redmond Gordon, and it's a request for, he wants to determine if a building lot is potential for a site. Mr. Town Manager, for building site, I should say.
Right. So what I think this is that he's looking at selling this land. I'm surmising this. I wasn't told, but I'm guessing he has a potential buyer. That buyer wants to make sure that he's able to build a house or structure on that piece of land. So you see on the last page there, it shows a survey, and where he mocked up where a house would potentially be. There's no major issues with this. Like the rear yard depth, our minimum regulation would be 25 feet. This is 20. However, if you look, they have all this infill area in beyond that. So there's probably 100 feet back there. If you know, it's quite a bit of space. So I don't see that as being an issue. There was similar Wanda Robertson next door, a similar piece of land, similar situation. They were issued a building permit as well. So I don't see any issues with this. But I guess he just wants to make sure whoever's, again, if someone's interested, they want to make sure that if they do purchase, given the fact that they're able to meet the requirements, side yard, front, and 25 feet from the roadway, they're able to proceed, which I don't see any issue with.
So how will we proceed? Because without knowing what the building will be, we
Right.
can't give them permission to build. So consensus that it would, under certain conditions, it would meet our.
The lot size is adequate.
The home or is it business or?
We had no, this is the only information we what we had there. So,
Facts as well.
yeah,
So,
but zoning obviously will play a part. All of those things will
I
apply.
guess what we would say then basically is that as far as we know, the size of the lot is fine, depending on what it is you want to build it. Okay.
No different than many other lots.
But it's the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
Everybody okay with that? Consensus. Okay. The next letter is a note of thanks from Debbie and Darren Locke. It's very nice to receive. I'm going to read it. So nice. It says, it's with great pleasure that we submit this letter on the recent removal and replacement of culverts on Sweet Apple Cove Road by the town of Glovertown. We are extending a note of thanks to you and the workers, Matthew Glover, Mike Ralph, and Gordon Ward, for the exemplary job that was performed. It was very evident that great teamwork and safety, along with pride and workmanship, was a big factor. Hats off to both the town of Glovertown and the workers named therein. Be encouraged and keep up the good work. Blessings from Darren and Debbie Locke. So we thank them very much for their letter, and I'm sure we'll pass on to our staff. The next item is an email from Bill Brake, Terranova National Park, Let's Talk Park, and this is a roundtable consultation, and it focuses on 4 or 5 different topics. This is in I think it's kind of a 2 or 3 years they do an updating of their plans for their conservation areas and so on. And it's going to be a virtual conference, and the information that you need is there. If any of you are interested in making comments, I think there's an open. Feel free to extend this invitation to your organization, and I think there's a place here where you can actually call in and share your thoughts. So it's not a conference type. It's not like the municipal affairs. It's just a matter of leaving them information at a particular time and place, I believe. So if anybody has any interest, you can get the information. Well, you have it in hand for the most part. No questions. We move on then to the next one. It's a letter from Darlene Blacker, the barking dog. Mr. Town Manager.
Yeah, there's 2 pieces of correspondence this evening with regards to that issue. I would suggest I've been back and forth with a couple of these individuals, and they're still looking for some sort of resolution. So the second piece of correspondence actually is asking that they meet with council. So I don't know, given the time and the restrictions with COVID, I don't know if it would be proper to have a meeting with the entirety of council, but maybe a committee. The mayor wants to choose a committee or discuss what committee would be best to meet with them to discuss it. It has been a long-standing issue going on for months, so they'd like to have the discussion.
Does council feel about that? We could probably use one of our committees. We don't have anything, of course, that deals with barking dogs.
Both parties.
Well, the meeting actually came from another neighbor, if you will. It's the second correspondence there from Mr. South. He's asked that council meet with himself and Mr. Woodford.
Not the dog owners.
Not the dog owners, no.
Yes.
So both letters are in reference to the same thing.
Same issue, yeah.
Okay. So how does everybody feel about that? There's 2 letters there.
This is a real nuisance committee.
No. The only thing I can think of, Councillor Kelly, is that we use when we have a permit committee or something, permit street lights, is sort of a multi-purpose committee. Maybe we can have that one. Meet with them and at least have the conversation. I think the town manager has had some conversations in terms of the police and with the individuals and with the dog owners. So probably we need to sit down and have that conversation as well to fill the committee members in terms of what's been done before we meet with the people themselves.
We got nothing there. We got no bylaw or anything that we can use.
there's regulations in place. However, there's no teeth in those regulations, nor, well, I don't know. That's part of a bigger discussion because it's beyond what a normal noise regulation would be after hours, for example. It's during the middle of the day. It's a dog barking, so obviously it's causing them great annoyance. But again, what's your threshold of a dog barking? Like, there's a larger discussion needs to be had. I don't think it's a simple black and white answer, right? And then even if it were, we have to figure out then what's the next step. Which of course we don't have enforcement officers, which we're well aware of. So if it does, justify.
Well, let's explore it and have a look at it and see where we go from there. So if that's a consensus, then that we will meet as a permit committee. And
Want to
permit.
say time?
Yeah, we'll set a time. The permit committee consists of Councillor Arnold, Councillor Saunders, Councillor Kelly, and the mayor is ex officio. And what's a good time to meet? Next Wednesday evening, or do you want to do it, Councillor Arnold, in the middle of the day?
During the day, I like to be 1 o'clock.
So we want to meet first, right, ourselves. So this is where we need this first meeting, yes, right?
What day are you suggesting?
Well, do we do it next? Is it too late to leave till next Wednesday? It's a week from now.
As an evening
As an
meeting?
evening meeting. Or would you rather do it in the middle of the day?
Auditors are here that day, tentatively, Wednesday, so
Wednesday.
that's not going to be, the chambers won't be available that day.
Are you available that night?
Yeah, they're only coming for 1 day as far as I know. I don't know how much brain power I'll have left.
Can we do it
Wednesday.
on that today?
Let's do
On
it on
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Not here?
On Tuesday?
Let's do it on Tuesday then, okay.
At 1 o'clock?
Yes.
Good thing to allow.
So can I suggest maybe we would have that meeting with the committee and then afterwards
Yes,
meet
set-
with the
set a time,
yeah, okay,
yeah.
so the same evening.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah. So we're going to say 1 o'clock.
Yeah, for a permit committee meeting to discuss
Yeah.
where we've been with this and get ourselves up to speed in terms of what's been happening.
And we'll set the meeting with these people after
After
that.
that, yeah, at that point. Hey, everybody okay with that? All right. And then the last item, because we just handled the two together there, the parade and outdoor ceremonies or events, COVID-19 regulations, and this is in your package as well. And this one has been delayed 2 or 3 times this evening, so Councillor Manning.
So originally when we had this conversation, I think it was on Monday, that was prior to that circular coming out from the provincial government. So council at that point had tentatively said, yeah, we'll go ahead with our based on the fact that it's okay with the fire department and the events committee, because those groups were looking for direction. Since that time, as you can see in the correspondence, there's been a circular come out from the province basically saying those types of things, gatherings, parades, those types of things are not recommended. So based on that, the fire department has met. I was speaking to Fire Chief Ken this afternoon, and he had said the fire department doesn't feel comfortable doing anything with bonfire based on the fact that the recommendation coming from the province stating probably shouldn't be done. So that would be the bonfire, and without the fire department, we can't have the bonfire. Not to say that we should anyways, but so I guess that probably decides that item for
Let's
us.
deal with the bonfire then, and
Yeah.
we had said before that if we could feel comfortable with it and get the proper regulations in place and so on, that we would go ahead with it. How does everybody feel in light of these regulations now? No?
I know that'll be that.
Okay, let's
With,
rescind the motion then that we made before.
okay. That was only a recommendation.
No, it was a
Motion. Okay, I'll move we send the motion.
And leave it at that.
Can I second if I wasn't?
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
think it doesn't matter, yeah. It's still
I'll
second.
second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, so we're
This fire department, sorry. Because they're not gonna go ahead with it anyway.
no, that's right. Okay, anything else, sir?
Just to give you a heads up, you may have seen it posted today, but the firefighters banquet, or fireman's ball as we refer to it a lot of times, has been cancelled for this year, so that won't be taking place. Their harvest sale was cancelled as well. The next item that we're probably going to have to talk about, we've had preliminary chats, is with regards to the Santa Claus parade, because of course that applies to parades as well. So The fire department has had some talks about it, but I don't think they're prepared at this point to make a decision, but they are looking at options, perhaps having no parade, but have the firefighters and some of their, have Santa Claus and some of the characters maybe situated up in the school parking lot or arena parking lot, and have the movement of traffic go by to get the goodie bag, people not getting out of their vehicles, just going to a lot, or maybe Santa Claus handing out bags, just to do something for the children, but that wouldn't include any parade whatsoever. So that's not a formal decision, but he's thinking that's probably the way, they'd like to be able to do something, but they don't want to go against the recommendations, so.
Okay, now in our minutes, we had, I think we didn't really make it clear, we just said that under the right conditions, we were okay, so we don't need to change that for the time being. Madam
Well, the
Clerk.
there would be more stops, so.
It says Santa Claus parade be approved in agreement with the fire department.
So we'll leave it at that for now,
Don't really be for
not yet for sure. So they may decide to go ahead with something different for the fire.
Maybe by the time we meet again, we'll be able to either rescind that or make a new motion.
We have a recommendation from the board.
Yes, that's right.
Changes.
Okay, anything else? We'll move then to the check register, we need a motion to accept. Second by Councillor Perry. All in favor? And no exemptions, so I guess we need a motion to adjourn. Second by Councillor Arnold. Thank you, folks.